my wall, there is a quote that says, the best thing in a communication is the pause. And you know what? The pauses are loaded. Pauses are important. And the same applies to life in general. Pause. Pause, reflect, observe, think, understand, absorb. And there is no one better around me than this guest that I have today, Shilpa Kulkarni, who can tell us about the pause in life. Shilpa, welcome to OATS Uncut. I'm so happy to have you on Orator Academy Talks Uncut. We are unfiltered conversations, real, relevant, relatable conversations, and sometimes raw as well. Shilpa, welcome to OATS Uncut. I've been waiting for a long time.
Thank you, Vineeta.
So I started off with mentioning of the pause. You paused and you changed the world in so many ways. Why don't you tell us about that?
Life paused for us. We didn't want to pause, but life paused for us. 4.5 years back, I think I keep saying 4.5, but it keeps moving ahead and ahead. And that's the reality check, we keep getting it. About July of 2021, we lost our son, Shiv, 14-year-old, to mental health, to suicide. And that was a big pause. We almost felt like a full stop at that point. And that really was a different thing for us. Like our life just completely shattered, changed.
I cannot even imagine the impact something of that nature can have. We were all rattled upon the news, and it's a parent's pain and trauma is unimaginable, but then yet you pivoted. You got over your traumas. I mean, you can never really get over your trauma. You will never get over your pain, but you deflected. You started looking at others. Are others getting the attention that I probably missed giving Shiv?
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
I know it's very hard to talk about, but you are, for the last 4.5 years, Shilpa, you've made every moment count. You've made every moment matter. And there are so many families and so many children who are so grateful because they feel seen, they feel heard. So you started Shiv's Third Eye in Shiv's honor. So you've really immortalized our Shiv. So now tell me, how is Shiv's Third Eye helping people?
I think that people have to tell us, but from our perspective, what we really want to do is more normalize the conversations, bring in the awareness even before any of the, I wouldn't even say crisis mode, because crisis is too late in the game already. But even when the kids are starting to grow, like they are going through that puberty time, and things are changing, the dynamics is changing in families, with parents, trying to make some meaning out of it, trying to understand how we can actually help this generation. That's one of the things that if we can sort of, that's one big lesson that we learned very hard way. And we just want to give that sort of, I mean, obviously we don't have all the answers, but we want to guide people towards that answer through experts, through different awareness initiatives or education, so that families have, the kids and family parents, they have a full, I think fulfilling is too much of a life, but they just have a good working relationship in their life, and the kids thrive in those atmosphere, right?
I think what you accomplished is the pause. Now people are taking that pause and looking within, looking in their family setup, looking at their children, observing their behavior and looking for any signs. So you have made all parents, young and old, pause. Even if people with children of Shiv's age or younger or even older, because sometimes we just take it for granted that, okay, now they're all grown up, they're okay. But we don't realize that adults suffer too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially young adults, they are one of the kinds, like once they go to college, that's when we think, oh my God, that's it. My child has finished high school, they are in college, everything is great, they are in great colleges wherever they needed to be or they wanted to be, and that's that.
Yeah.
But that, even there, they are still young adults and they are still not at a point where they are not going to need help.
And as parents, I guess not to put the burden on the child saying, okay, you're all grown up now, figure it out.
No.
You still got to hold their hand. It's not a little hand anymore, but it has to be held invisibly.
Exactly.
And let them have that confidence that this is their safe space, their safe zone, and they will not be judged. So
even giving them some sort of, making the help available to them. So it might not, and I think, in my opinion, somehow I always wonder why somehow kids do not think that parents can be the resource. And I have seen this not just with me, I have seen it with even professionals who are very successful psychologists and psychiatrists, and even their kids do not want to listen to them. And when that happens, and that's when I'm like, okay, so I'm not that bad a parent, like, because you always think you are judging yourself. I mean, unfortunately, I think it's part of us being Indians that we have learned, or we have grown up judging every little thing around us and people around us and ourselves a lot.
I think probably you may be right, but I think the world has become very unkind in general. So we are living through very strange times. When we are judging each other, we are becoming more self-conscious, less self-aware. And so we are also shrinking inside somewhere. We are becoming very self-conscious. Oh, okay, anything wrong with me, I feel they're only noticing that about me. I fail to acknowledge the positives and the goods and the strengths that I bring to this world. And I would just assume, I'm just giving you a hypothetical example, that people mostly just assume that all their flaws are more visible than their awesomeness.
It's also to do with, I mean, I know I might sound really old. I'm an IT professional for that matter, but still it is something whenever I think about it. It's like, this global presence for us, what it has achieved, and that is the side effect of that global presence. Because when we were back in India, when we were little, or when our parents were our age or whatever, probably they had those insecurities, if we may call that, but they had spaces, or they had an option. So if I grew up in Nagpur, if I went to Mumbai, there was nobody who would be knowing me and who would actually know what my issues when I was 10 years old. Now it is, being that we are in the global presence of internet, whatever I do right now, my school friends and my gully friends and my every relative of mine, they all know. So it's good and bad, right? Like, we are bringing everybody together. At the same time, we are actually putting ourselves or everybody on the spot, on the limelight. And that makes it very, like, there is no running away from anywhere.
That is true. But the fact that, under Shiv's third eye, you're bringing all the resources to one place, and you are literally offering it on a platter to anybody who is seeking that help or has been considering, but not really coming out with that ask or with that search. You are bringing it home to them, which is very heartening, because in times of AI right now, I mean, it breaks my heart when I hear of children using AI for therapy. And then accidents happening because AI misguided somebody and they went and did something really horrible to themselves. So that means that child had nobody to talk to.
But that's where I feel like, if I can really, really appeal to parents, right? Don't think of therapy as we don't do therapy, or why do we need therapy, or once I start the therapy, it's going to be for life, or whatever it might be, that preconceived notions. And I'm not saying this out of being unkind, because I was one of those people. I learned it the hard way. But think about it, that it's a crutch that you would rather your kids have than not have, and turn to something else. I would rather have an adult professional talking to my child when they are going through something which very, there are kids. I'm not going to say there aren't kids, but there are, most of the kids would not come out and tell you. You may not even recognize, you may not even guess what is going on in their life, in their mind. So giving that one person would be such a great thing, and having that therapy, especially people who are going away to college. I almost feel like, because I have seen this in so many kids, like they never needed therapy. Once they go to college, there are different kids, different problems. Not one problem is the same as the other. But then there is like this whole distress, and there are difficult calls, and you really go, you don't have to, you can actually give them that support before. And nothing wrong with that. Aren't we doing the college counselors? Aren't we doing the tutors? Aren't we doing PCPs, like the pediatrician visits, obgyn visits? Why is therapy considered that bad? And that's the only thing I can really.
So that brings me to another question. Sometimes people say, oh, it's not covered by my insurance, or oh, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. So are there any resources that are available under Shiv's Third Eye that people can consider?
So there are few places where absolutely, I mean, in Shiv's Third Eye, there is a website. I try to be a little bit more on top of it, but it's difficult for me to be constantly updating it. But there are quite a few resources which do take insurance, but that insurance not taking is the reality, unfortunately. But there are out of network benefits. You figure out something or the other, and
at least explore.
Yeah. Like give them something, because right. At the end of it, if we don't do it right now, there is a possibility it would be much more costlier. Again, I mean, I don't want to sort of judge people or judge. There are many things that we spend money on. It's a prioritization at sometimes, especially places like Livingston. I mean, absolutely, it can get really expensive, and it's not easy on the pocket. But you just have to then think about, where is my health or my child's health in terms of placement.
Right. And I think what you have also accomplished is bringing that point home, that mental illness is as important and as normal as physical illness.
It is. I mean, it is the reality.
As normal as physical illness. We just, I don't know why there's taboo to one and not the other. If you break your leg, you walk with a crutch. And you mentioned the word crutch before, that, well, you need support, you get support. So when you get support for your physical ailments, why can't we get support for our mental ailments? Why are we hiding?
So you would be very surprised. It's funny that you mentioned that. But I have a friend who is a chief wellness officer of Rutgers University. And he was just talking to me, and he's like, because of this stigma, I mean, he's in such a great position, but he's like, he also deals with this constantly within the community, within student population, everywhere. And he's like, that's why we don't even call it Department of Mental Health. We actually called it behavioral health.
Yeah.
But it's a wordplay. It's a brain disease. If at all you talk about depression, OCD, all these different disorders that we are talking about, eating disorder, they're all brain diseases. They are diseases to start with. So there is absolutely no reason why they should be thought about as it's in your mind. Oh yeah, but mind is part of my body.
Right. Yeah.
So it is in my mind, but that mind is not made up. It is actually there as a disease.
Yeah. And in my experience as a communication coach, I feel many students come to me for communication, and some are also just coming
Because they want to get away from certain things.
no, because they actually have that sense of low confidence and lack of conviction, very self-conscious, all of that. So the parents sign up that, okay, maybe my child will learn to speak well, and then I end up working on their minds. I end up working on as a psychologist.
So you become a therapist.
As a therapist, as a psychologist, to make sure that I can. And again, I feel sometimes parents put those burdens on children too, because typically when somebody signs up, they'll ask me, so what do I expect, and when can I expect some transformation in my child? So I tell them, I say, listen, first of all, go easy. It's a life skill. It's not maths that we go chapter by chapter. You know, in a class of 5 or 6 or 7 people, somebody will be good at voice, somebody will be good at eye contact, somebody will be good at body language. We've got to, and somebody will be very good at content prep. That doesn't make one better than the other. It's the different attributes that we club together. So I don't know your child yet. So, and I tell them, I say, listen, there are 24 hours in a day. Give me 24 hours. And then let's see what change I can effect. And that 24 hours then will translate into 4 hours a month, once a week, 6 months. So I do have to kind of play this game of numbers to why the rush?
Why the
rush? Why these deadlines? We let them be a child. We forget when we were children. And actually that's why, my podcast, sometimes I also talk about not trying to live our dreams through our children. Just because I missed something, you must accomplish.
But it's a very hard thing, Vineeta, to think about it. I mean, I know that, and I sometimes deal with it all the time. Like when I start thinking about what we went through with Shiv and whatever, I don't know whether it was necessarily what were our dreams and we were trying to put those dreams on him. But it was just, as Indian parents, or as somebody who grew up in the subcontinent of India, we can call it, like how we grew up, our whole identity was about accomplishment. Success was all about how well you do in studies, how well, obviously in India, the most important thing is looks, color of the skin. Those two things are like you can't really control. What can you control? There is only one thing you can control, and that is how good you are at studies, for the most part. Of course, not everybody can do it. But if you can control that, then you would reach from, everything will fall in place. And it happened to a lot of us. And for us, those were, whether it was our success we were, or other our ambitions we were trying to put. But yes, in some ways it is always like, oh, I didn't even get these opportunities. Now we are giving you all these opportunities, and we don't know where to stop, where to draw a line. We have so many opportunities that we can give, that it just becomes like, oh, they can do pretty much, I mean, I'm thinking about it, pretty much everything under the world. My kids were done by 4th or 5th grade. They had tried every sport that is there, pretty much. Like, of course, there were a couple of things that horse riding was something that I tried multiple times and couldn't get to. So that was on my back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, so do we just say that was bad, or maybe it was ambitious and we are trying to give all? But at the same time, if we start understanding them and we start changing our parenting, or educating ourselves about the parenting styles, say at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe that will help.
So to your point, I think exposing your children to different sports is not a bad thing. You are giving them so many choices because you can afford to give them so many choices. But at the same time,
that can be pressure too.
The problem would be when you say excel. I had one mother call me, actually. I had one mother call me, and she said, I have to share something about this. Another mother, she said, my child is learning the piano with her child, and they were, if you win if you win that competition or
Oh,
something, you perform at Carnegie Hall. If you come second, you perform at another college. So the mother was being very vehement. She took her boy to a corner and said, second is not an option. Coming second is not an option. So this other mother was getting very rattled, and she came to me and she said, I wanted to go and save that boy somehow, but I just, and then he did not make first. So I just hope that he was not reprimanded or punished for coming second. I mean, is it easy to come second, first of all? But unfortunately, that is the kind of pressure I think that we should not put on our children.
We should not, because I think what ends up happening is, as an adult, we always think about everything as a competition.
Yeah.
And the accomplishment and the success. Competition is so important to us. Sometimes maybe we need to pull ourselves together and say, yes, sometimes competition is important and sometimes it is not, because we can't just let them be completely unambitious. That's not something we should, I mean, especially if the child has potential, you're not going to let them just be whatever, right? But giving them the healthy, I don't have those answers, and I'm going to be honest, because I'm pretty sure I have made multiple mistakes, and I probably make mistakes even now.
We all have. We're humans.
So I don't want to judge somebody, but yes, I think pulling back from that whole competition sense of, not everything in life is competition and not everything you have to win. There are certain things you just do it because you enjoy, right? That could be another thing. Like, I will tell you, we have this MindSpeak essay competition, for example. I really didn't want it to make as a competition, but then multiple people told me, unless you don't call it a competition, you will not get serious entries. And I see that constantly, because there are many different, say, immigrant parents, I would possibly call it, that they would come when I have tables, multiple events, they won't stop at the table, but once they stop, they would say, what is this? And then you start talking about youth mental wellness and health and whatever. They're like, okay, whatever. And then, oh, what is this MindSpeak? And then you start talking about essay competition. The moment competition comes, immediately they perk up.
Oh my God.
And this happens, and I always wonder, was I also like this? Maybe I was. You know, so I guess we probably have to give some and take some. And if we can slow down, pause, as you said, no need for the pauses, but slow down just those years, those 4 or 5 years that the kids have, the growth years of that pre-puberty to puberty to whatever. If we can give them that really, really nice, wholesome, I again, maybe wholesome is again very extreme a word, but something that is going to be nurturing.
Yeah, so I met this very interesting boy in India on one of my trips. This is about 5, 6 years ago maybe. He had done schooling in India, in Delhi, and he wanted to come here. He was the only child of his parents. He is the only child. And he got into every single college, Ivy League, that he wanted to, except Harvard. And his father in that generation had got into every single Ivy except Princeton. So the father had gone to Harvard and the son went to Princeton. They both did not make it to the that person's college. But this boy, he was, really nice personality, all of that, but they still signed him up. So on my trip, I was meeting him one-on-one for sessions, for communication sessions. And I asked him, I said, so are you looking forward to college? He said, yes, but I'm taking a gap year before I start. That was very intriguing that he had got into that. He said, I've worked very hard to be where I am, but before I get into it again, I want a year off.
That's amazing.
And I was so actually impressed with that. Even though when I typically asked if I'm working one-on-one, I'll say, so tell me about yourself. Typically getting to know them a little bit. And he looked at me and he smiled and said, I am an only child. So I am my parents' project. So I will never forget that, because he did become his parents' project. He said my mother quit her job and stayed at home so she could give her time to
Full
me.
time.
And my father also cut back on his work, and they've just been fully invested in me. So I think whatever they did, they probably did it well, because he didn't sound resentful at all. He was
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if we somehow come to that point where the relationship doesn't suffer, I just hope that by the time the kids come to that 11th, 12th grade, or when they are ready to fly the nest, if our relationship can be very nice and friendly and like loving, you have achieved what you need to do.
And how's Sanvi doing now?
Sanvi is doing well. We are working on stuff.
She's doing very well. She's doing very well.
No, she is. I'm very proud of her. She by herself, absolutely, she's doing amazing. You call me about the pause. It's one of the things that she always talks about it, and her favorite thing in the grammar is semicolon.
Ah, interesting.
So, and even before, it doesn't matter now or later, before also, it was always, and she has so many ways to explain that. So, Sanvi is Sanvi, but she is doing well. She has taken, sort of this as her personal trauma, her experience, which nobody should ever have at this early age. But she has taken it up, and
that under your guidance, she could have collapsed.
Yeah, but it is a lot her, right? Because my guidance, I don't know how much I could really do that, but
no, you don't have to. I strongly believe children don't do what you tell them. They observe how you are carrying yourself through it. Yeah. So she saw and she learned. You didn't have to tell her anything.
It definitely, so Shiv's third eye is definitely help, and I say this many, many times. Sometimes we think like Shiv's third eye has helped us personally in many different ways. Myself, Vishwas, Sanvi, we do things for Shiv's third eye in our own ways. Different things. I am probably much more in the front. I'm always doing stuff, but they are always behind the scenes helping me in every possible way, but they are pretty much part of every decision, everything that we are doing, or whatever is happening. And it helps them because of different personalities. It comes out differently, but it has, and I think talking about it, and that is another example that talking about it has helped our family. I don't know if it would help everybody, but talking about mental health, thinking about having the thought that you have to take care of yourself, and what has happened to Shiv, like always thinking, having Shiv to be part of our family, that has helped us. So
definitely,
that's what we try to, I guess, propagate and preach. But again, every family has to find their balance, but you have to find the help. It really is never too late to find the help, but it should not be that, oh, I am thinking about it. A lot more times I hear this from so many parents that few months back, last 6 months, I have been thinking about it. If you are, as a parent, there is a little bit of gut feeling, just take that step. Having that first conversation, second conversation is not going to break the bank, and it's not going to make your child feel that they are crazy. And if anything, it will always help them.
Definitely, and people should definitely visit Shiv's Third Eye. What's the website URL?
It's www.shivsthirdeye.org. So we have actually, I don't know.
I'm going to share the link on the caption.
So we have a really exciting, so we have been active for 4 years now.
You didn't lose any time.
March of 2022 is when we started our first panel that the kids did actually with HRC person. And to celebrate our 4 years. I mean, we never thought of that like that, but at the end of it, it just happened. On April 25th, we are having a huge
fundraiser.
Bollywood, yes. So our first public fundraiser we are planning to do, and it's a Bollywood music and dance, which is what all our Indians we love. And there is going to be a surprise element in between.
Are you restricting it to Indian
Not really.
audience?
I mean, it's not restricting, but I don't know if they are going to feel. I guess they would love it.
Well, a Russian skater danced to Durandar song just now.
Oh yeah,
an ice skater. So I guess it's
I
open.
Think so. Yeah, it is open to everybody, absolutely, and it's going to be. The idea really was brought to me by two young girls from Rutgers University, Bella and her friend, and that's it. Then we started working towards it. And
beautiful. Because then you can probably help more than what you have done so far.
Correct. And there are some initiatives that we definitely need money for, and money sometimes really becomes thing which can be blocker. So this would help us putting those initiatives ahead as well.
Wonderful. So before we close, it's been a wonderful conversation. I just realized we've talked for more than half an hour.
Oh my God.
But
we both are. There is no stopping us.
There is no stopping us, but this topic is such also that it needs to be talked about.
It needs to be
the more we talk about it, the better. Somebody will hear it, somebody will benefit. We don't know who's seeking what out there.
Absolutely.
So,
and I mean, we always talk about that as one child at a time, one family at a time. Even if we start reaching out to those, so be it.
And lastly, do you have any message for people who might be viewing? I mean, you've said a lot of wonderful things and hopefully people are very inspired. So I have two things actually for you. One, do you have a message for others, which I think you may have already covered?
Yeah, I think so.
And the other thing that and you don't have to respond if you don't feel comfortable, or if I touch a nerve, say something to Shiv.
Shiv is just, I miss you, I love you. That's all I can say.
Mommy's trying. Mommy's doing her best.
Yeah.
Mommy, Vishwas and Sanvi, you are a wonderful team, and what you have done, the legacy that you have created on Shiv's name is absolutely, I think, Shiv's legacy. And you are the three elves who have created this beautiful, beautiful initiative to help people through Shiv's third eye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. And please visit shivsthirdeye.org. And if you are feeling something, don't ignore it. Talk about it. And if you don't know who to talk to, reach out to us and we'll help you right here. Stay well, stay safe, stay real, stay relatable, and stay sane in this very insane world right now. We shall meet again. Till then, take care.
Thank you.
Oh.